I never thought Maxwell Hayes would hold me like he actually needed me. Not his usual confident, flirtatious touch. Not the lazy arm around my shoulder or those times he'd deliberately sit close to me on the sofa. This was completely different. Maxwell held me so tightly I could feel his chaotic heartbeat through his thin t-shirt. The cold wind still swept across campus. The festival music now sounded strangely distant. I instinctively reached up and rubbed his back gently. "He'll be okay," I said softly again. Maxwell didn't respond right away. He just buried his head against my shoulder, breathing in deeply like he was trying to hold himself together. "Sorry," he murmured after a few seconds. "For what?" "I don't usually." Maxwell hesitated. "Lean on people like this." My heart completely softened. Damn it. This is exactly how people fall into a trap they can't escape. "It's okay," I said quietly. Maxwell finally let me go, but his hands stayed on my waist for a few more seconds before he stepped back. The distance suddenly felt much colder. "I have to go back to Detroit tonight," he said. "Yeah. I might miss a few classes. I'll send you my notes." Maxwell looked at me. That look appeared again. The one that made me feel like I was the only person he could see right now. "Why are you always so good to me?" I laughed softly. "Just noticing that now?"
No.
Maxwell's lips curved slightly. "I just haven't gotten used to it yet." My heart skipped a stupid beat. An hour later, I stood with Maxwell in front of the apartment building while he stuffed a bag into the trunk. It was nearly midnight. Pale streetlights reflected off the still damp road. "I'll drive through the night," Maxwell said. "That sounds dangerous." "I'm fine. I know you think you're Superman. I'm better looking than Superman. Pathologically narcissistic." Maxwell laughed, and I realized he was trying to act normal to hide how worried he was. I stepped closer. "Max." "Yeah. Text me when you get there. Okay?" He paused, just barely, then nodded. "Okay." Silence for a few seconds. Neither of us moved, like neither wanted to be the one to end the conversation first. Finally, Maxwell opened the driver's door. But before he got in, he turned and looked at me. "Vincent." "What?" "Tonight." Maxwell hesitated, which was rare for him. "Thank you." I smiled softly. "Go before I start getting sentimental." "I think you already are." "Get out of here." Maxwell smiled one last time and got in the car. I stood watching until the car disappeared at the end of the street. And for the first time since I'd known him, the apartment felt strangely empty. The 3 days Maxwell spent in Detroit were the 3 longest days of my life. I hated having to admit that, but the truth was, I missed him. A lot. I missed the sound of his laughter filling the apartment. Missed seeing him wandering around the kitchen at midnight looking for food. Missed finding a cup of coffee already placed next to my laptop every morning. I even missed being teased by him to the point of madness. I was completely beyond saving. "You look like you got dumped," my classmate remarked, finding me sitting in a daze in the studio. "I didn't get dumped." "Then why do you look so miserable?" I was about to respond when my phone buzzed. A text from Maxwell. "Dad's okay." I immediately exhaled in relief. Another message arrived right after. "And I just realized Detroit is incredibly boring without you." My heart leapt. That bastard really knew how to drive people insane from a distance. I tried to stay calm and replied, "Maybe because no one's wearing pizza boxers there." 3 dots appeared almost immediately. "I genuinely miss you." I stared at the screen like an idiot, then buried my face on the desk.
I hater menn, I groa ned.
Maxwell came back to Chicago on Thursday evening. I was sprawled on the sofa editing a video when I heard the door open. "Pizza boy." Just 2 words. But the corners of my mouth curved up before I could stop them. I looked up. Maxwell stood at the door with his duffel bag on his shoulder, the exhaustion under his eyes unmistakable. But the moment he saw me, he smiled. The kind of smile that softened completely, like he'd finally come back to exactly where he needed to be. My chest turned to mush instantly. "How's your dad?" I asked. "Better." Maxwell closed the door. "He even asked when he gets to meet you." I blinked. What? I've told him quite a bit about you. My heart was about to explode. You can't casually drop bombs like that. Sure I can. Maxwell walked toward the sofa. I'm doing it right now. I hate you. Liar. He looked at me for a few seconds, then unexpectedly reached out and lightly touched beneath my eye. Do I look that bad? I asked. You haven't been sleeping enough. I've been busy. Bullshit. Maxwell sat down beside me. You were worried about me. I opened my mouth to deny it. But then I saw the exhaustion in his eyes, and I didn't want to lie anymore. Yeah, I admitted quietly. I was worried. Maxwell's expression softened immediately. We looked at each other for too long. The air started becoming dangerous again. I hated that this always happened. Maxwell glanced down at my lips. This time I didn't look away. My heart was pounding so hard I felt dizzy. The distance between us grew smaller and smaller. Vincent, Maxwell said very softly. Yeah, I want to kiss you. My brain officially caught fire. You. I swallowed. You shouldn't ask so directly like that. I'm trying to be polite. That doesn't help at all. Maxwell laughed softly. His breath was so close I could almost feel it on my lips. Then what should I do? I looked at him, at those deep blue eyes, at the rare tension on that always confident face. And damn it all, I wanted Maxwell to kiss me more than anything in the world right now. Max, I whispered, but right at that moment, dude, the apartment door burst open. A tall guy in a hockey jersey stormed in. I forgot my key so. He froze. I froze. Maxwell closed his eyes in pure agony. The other guy looked back and forth between the two of us. Then his mouth fell open. No fucking way. I wanted to jump out the window. The apartment fell into a deadly silence. I was still sitting rigid on the sofa. Maxwell looked like he wanted to kill someone. And the hockey jersey guy at the door was struggling so hard not to laugh that his face had gone red. Bro, he spoke first. Did I just interrupt a romance movie kiss? Connor, Maxwell said in a warning tone. Get out. Connor raised both hands in surrender. Okay. But then he turned to me. Holy shit. You're actually a real person. I blinked. What? Connor looked at Maxwell with wide eyes. You haven't told him? Connor. I'll shut up if you stop looking at me like you're about to hide a body. Maxwell stood up from the sofa. I'm very serious. I know. Connor tried to hold back a laugh. But this is too insane. I looked at both of them, completely confused. Can someone explain this to me? Connor immediately pointed at Maxwell. This guy is obsessed with you. Connor. What? Connor yelled back. You literally said Vincent's name in your sleep on the team bus. The air got stuck in my throat. Maxwell went dead silent. Connor looked at me with an expression of pity. You should see his face every time someone flirts with you on campus. He shook his head. Genuinely terrifying. I slowly turned to Maxwell. You said my name in your sleep? Maxwell was quiet. His ears went slightly red. And oh my God, Maxwell Hayes was embarrassed. That moment almost made my heart explode. Connor whistled. Damn, I've never seen him blush before. I will kill you. Worth it. Connor burst out laughing and quickly backed toward the door before Maxwell actually lunged at him. Anyway, he winked at me. Good luck. He likes you so much he's lost his mind. Connor. But the door had already slammed shut. The apartment became so quiet I could hear my own heartbeat. Maxwell stood with his back to me for a few seconds. Then he sighed, deeply. I hate my friends. I think they're pretty entertaining. Maxwell turned to look at me. Don't start. Did you really say my name in your sleep? Vincent. Maxwell Hayes. I tried not to laugh. Are you obsessed with me? I'm going to jump off the balcony. I burst out laughing for the first time since Connor had barged in. And what surprised me was, Maxwell just stood there watching me laugh. Very intently, very gently, like he liked seeing me this way. That made my laughter slow. The air shifted again. Oh God, every single time. You have a beautiful laugh, Maxwell said quietly. My heart skipped a painful beat. Do you know what your problem is? Too handsome. Too narcissistic. Maxwell smiled softly, then walked back toward the sofa. This time he didn't sit down. He just stood in front of me, looking at me like he was trying to summon courage for something. I don't want to be interrupted again, he said. My stomach immediately flipped. Oh, yeah. I looked up at him. Maxwell reached out and gently touched my cheek. His fingers were so warm I nearly trembled. If I kiss you right now, he asked softly, will you run? I should have said yes, should have been smarter, but instead, I shook my head, and Maxwell kissed me. Everything in my head went blank the moment his lips touched mine. I'd always imagined a first kiss with someone I liked would be like in the movies. Gentle, slow, romantic. The reality was, my heart was pounding so wildly I thought I might actually die. Maxwell kissed me very slowly at first, like he was giving me a chance to change my mind. But when I grabbed his shirt by instinct, Maxwell breathed out softly against my lips, and the kiss immediately deepened. Damn it, I completely lost control. One of Maxwell's hands held my cheek. The other tightened around my waist, pulling me closer. The familiar scent of mint surrounded me. My head burned. When Maxwell pulled back, both of us were breathing slightly fast. He rested his forehead against mine. Holy shit, he whispered. I laughed because his voice sounded genuinely stunned. That's exactly what I was thinking. Maxwell looked at me for a few seconds, then suddenly laughed. The kind of laugh that was relieved and happy and impossible to hide. What are you laughing about? I asked. I've been losing sleep for a whole month wanting to do that. My heart turned to liquid. Max, I'm serious. Maxwell gently brushed my hair back. You drive me crazy. That sounds a little toxic. Probably. I laughed again, and Maxwell looked at me with that expression again. The one that made me feel like I was the most precious thing in the room. So, I hesitated. What does this mean now? Maxwell raised an eyebrow. You just kissed me and you're asking what this means? I need clarity. Fair. He sat down beside me this time, very close, knees touching. I like you, Maxwell said plainly. A lot. My heart betrayed its owner again. I like you too. The corners of Maxwell's lips curved up immediately. Yeah. Don't make it weird. Too late. I glared at him, but Maxwell just laughed and suddenly pulled me against him. Everything felt so natural it was almost frightening. Like we'd been doing this for a long time already. I rested my head on his shoulder, listening to the steady rhythm of his heartbeat beneath his broad chest. And for the first time in a very long while, I felt a strange kind of peace, until Maxwell spoke. Connor is never going to shut up about this. I burst out laughing. We should move to another state. Too much effort. I hate your friends. You'll hate them even more once they find out I finally got to kiss you. I snapped my head up. Finally, Maxwell smiled with complete innocence. Oops. Maxwell, I'm just being honest. How long have you wanted to kiss me? Maxwell looked at me for a few seconds. Then the corner of his mouth curved up slowly. When you opened the apartment door in your pizza boxers. I went completely still, then buried my face in his chest in utter despair. I'm never going to escape that, am I? Never. The low rumble of Maxwell's laughter sounded right beside my ear. And damn it all, I think I could hear myself falling in love with him. Dating Maxwell Hayes was like voluntarily walking into a storm. A very good-looking storm that absolutely loved making my heart race. The first problem appeared the very next morning. I woke up at 8 because I smelled bacon coming from the kitchen. Everything was completely normal at first, until I walked out and saw Maxwell cooking in gray sweatpants with his hair tousled from sleep. Then he turned his head and looked at me, and smiled. That smile that softened completely, the one only meant for me. Oh no, no. We had unlocked a new level. Why are you looking at me like that? I asked, wary. Like what? Like, I gestured vaguely. A boyfriend. Maxwell laughed. Because I am your boyfriend. I froze in the middle of the kitchen. Excuse me. He calmly flipped the bacon. Too fast. You just casually changed our relationship status while frying meat. I multitask well. Maxwell. He finally laughed properly. I hated that I found him endearing right now. Okay. Maxwell set the pan down and walked toward me. Let me redo that. Good. I want to be your boyfriend. My heart immediately betrayed me again. You. I swallowed. Do you always say important things like you're ordering food? Because if I think about it too much, I'll get nervous. I blinked. You? Surprisingly, yes. That made my chest soften instantly. Maxwell Hayes, the guy who had the entire campus losing their minds, was nervous because of me. This was genuinely not good for my cardiovascular health. I looked at him for a few seconds, then nodded slightly. Okay. Maxwell tilted his head. Okay, what? Okay, boyfriend. His expression changed immediately, like someone had switched a light on behind his eyes. And damn it, I had never seen anyone look at me that happy. Come here, Maxwell said softly. I'm already standing here. Closer. I had barely stepped forward before he'd already pulled me in and leaned down to kiss me. A short kiss. Warm. Full of dangerously satisfying contentment. I think I was truly done for. Rumors spread terrifyingly fast. Actually, they weren't rumors anymore, because Connor had seen us kiss. And Connor clearly had no concept of keeping secrets. We just heard the news. Lucas shouted the moment I walked into the cafeteria at lunch. The entire hockey table turned to look at me simultaneously. I immediately wanted to flee. Maxwell was completely calm as he pulled me down to sit beside him. Way too close. This guy was obviously enjoying my panic. Vincent. Connor pointed at me like he'd discovered a rare species. You actually exist. I hate everyone here. Ah. Lucas propped his chin in his hand. He's being protective of the new roommate. Boyfriend, Maxwell corrected. The entire table exploded. I knew it. Holy shit. He's finally being serious about someone. I went so red I wanted to crawl under the table. Maxwell looked at me and smiled insufferably. Goo. I'm breaking up with you. No, you're not. So confident. Very. Connor wiped tears from his eyes from laughing too hard. I swear I've never seen him look at anyone like this. Like what? Maxwell asked. Like if Vincent said he liked the moon, you'd go steal NASA. I'd consider it. Maxwell. The table erupted again like a pack of hyenas. I genuinely needed to transfer schools. Despite all that, everything with Maxwell was surprisingly easy. Not dramatic. Not awkward. Just right. The kind of right that sometimes scared me. He started appearing in every part of my daily routine. Bringing coffee to my classes. Sitting up waiting while I edited videos late at night. Naturally wrapping his arms around my waist when we stood in the kitchen together. And oh God, Maxwell loved physical affection. Can you stop touching me for 5 minutes? I complained when he hugged me from behind while I was making noodles.
No. I'm cooking.
Still huggable. You're like a koala. I'm better looking than a koala. Pathological narcissism. Maxwell laughed against my neck, making my entire body flush. I like you so much. That was said so casually, so naturally, but it still made my heart skip every single time. About 2 weeks after we officially started dating, I began noticing something. Maxwell was famous in a genuinely frightening way. Everywhere we went, people stared. People asked to take photos with him. People tried to flirt. People looked at me like, oh, so this is who Maxwell Hayes chose. At first, I tried not to think about it. Until that Friday evening. We were at a house party near campus when a very drunk girl suddenly blocked Maxwell's path. Oh my God! She latched onto his arm. Max, you haven't blocked me yet, right? I went still. Maxwell immediately and politely detached her hand. Emily, I miss you so much. She pouted. Your new boyfriend isn't as cute as me. Something in my chest tightened uncomfortably. Okay. I knew Maxwell had a past. Knew he was attractive. Knew many people liked him. but seeing it firsthand still made something inside me feel strange. Maxwell glanced at me almost immediately. Emily, stop. What? The girl laughed. I'm just joking. Not funny. Maxwell's voice cooled noticeably. The girl finally read the atmosphere and shrugged before walking away. I turned away and took a sip of my soda. Vincent. I'm fine. You're jealous. I'm not jealous. You're holding your soda like you're trying to crush it. I looked down at my hand. Okay, fair point. Maxwell sighed very softly, then guided me out to a quiet balcony at the back of the house. The noise from inside faded. Cold wind swept past. I don't like that look on you, Maxwell said. I told you I'm fine. Vincent. I was quiet for a few seconds, then finally admitted. I bit my lip. Sometimes I feel like everyone had some part of you before I did. Maxwell stood still, watching me. And, I don't know. I smiled weakly. It sounds stupid. It's not stupid. I'm not used to dating someone this well-known on campus. Maxwell stepped closer. Look at me. I reluctantly lifted my head. His eyes were completely serious. Listen. Maxwell lightly touched my wrist. I don't care about anyone else. Max. I mean it. He spoke slowly. I only want to be with you. My heart softened immediately. This bastard truly knew how to dismantle every defense I had. I hate that you always know exactly what to say. Maxwell smiled softly.
No.
He traced his finger over the back of my hand. I'm just telling the truth. Then he leaned down and kissed me. Slowly. Gently enough to ache. And right at that moment, a camera sound rang out from behind. Click. Both of us spun around at the same time. Someone had just taken a photo of us from the balcony doorway. The moment the camera sound rang out, my heart dropped straight to my stomach. A girl stood at the balcony door, phone still raised in the air. Oh my God, sorry. She immediately cried out. You two looked so beautiful, I just reacted. I wanted to disappear from the planet. Maxwell immediately and instinctively stepped slightly in front of me. Delete it, he said. His voice not harsh but serious enough to make the girl go rigid. Yes, yes. She frantically tapped her phone. I wasn't going to post it, swear to God. Maxwell watched until she deleted it completely, then nodded. Thanks. The girl practically sprinted back inside like she'd never existed. I stood still for a few seconds, then exhaled sharply. Okay. Covered my face. I just felt my soul leave my body. Maxwell turned to look at me. Are you scared? I hesitated. A little. The most frustrating part was that I didn't even know what I was scared of. People talking about us? Being stared at? Or was I scared of things with Maxwell suddenly feeling too real, too public? Maxwell leaned back against the balcony railing. The light from inside the house cast across his face, making his blue eyes look softer than usual. Vincent. Yeah. If you're not ready to be public. He shrugged slightly. I understand. My heart immediately clenched. It's not that. Then what is it? I looked down at my sneakers for a few seconds, then sighed. I've just never had anything this big before. Maxwell listened quietly. I've dated before, I continued, but no one ever made me feel like the whole world was watching. Hey! Maxwell gently tilted my chin up, making me look at him. The whole world doesn't matter. I know. Only you matter. Damn it. I was truly going to fall in love with him. Where do you even learn lines like that? I muttered. Maxwell smiled softly. I don't know. He traced his finger across my cheek. They just come to me when I'm looking at you. I was officially beyond saving. Even though that photo was deleted, the rumors spread faster than a virus, because apparently about 10 other people had seen us kissing on the balcony. By Monday, practically all of Belridge had confirmed that Vincent and Maxwell were together. You're famous now, my classmate announced cheerfully. I want to drop out. Too late. She held out her phone for me to see. You two are trending on the confession page. I looked at the screen. At Belridge.inside had just posted. Maxwell Hayes finally looks in love, and honestly it's disgusting how cute they are. along with a photo taken from a distance. Me and Maxwell sitting next to each other on the library steps last week. I was laughing at something, and Maxwell was looking at me, not the way you look at someone normally, but the way that made anyone watching know exactly how much he liked me. My chest went unexpectedly soft. "Oh no," my friend groaned. "You're smiling at the post." "I'm not. You are literally blushing. I hate this place." That afternoon, Maxwell waited for me outside the media building as usual. Except this time, a lot of people were looking at us. "Can you tell everyone's staring?" I asked quietly as we walked together. "Yeah. And you're still completely calm?" Maxwell shrugged. "I'm used to it." "I'm not." He was quiet for a few seconds, then suddenly took my hand. I nearly tripped over my own feet. "Maxwell." "What?" "People are watching." "I know. Are you insane?" Maxwell stopped in the middle of the path, surrounded by students, then looked straight at me. "Vincent." "What?" "I don't want to act like you're a secret." My heart caught in my throat. Around us were still the sounds of people talking, footsteps, cars outside. But in that moment, I only heard Maxwell's voice. "I like you." He squeezed my hand gently, and I don't see any reason to pretend otherwise. Damn it. I looked at him for a few seconds, then finally laced my fingers through his. Immediately, the corner of Maxwell's lips curved up. Just a small smile, but enough to completely melt my heart. "Don't smile like that," I muttered. "I'm happy." "Annoying. You still like me." "Unfortunately." Maxwell laughed out loud in the middle of campus. And somehow, for the first time, I wasn't paying too much attention to everyone else's eyes anymore. Everything continued beautifully for about another week. Until that Wednesday evening. I was sitting in the apartment editing a video when Maxwell came out of the bedroom with a strange look on his face. "Vincent." I looked up from my laptop. My parents want to meet you." I went completely still. "What? This weekend?" "What?" Maxwell laughed when he saw my face. "Relax. You just casually announced that I have to meet your parents like you were reading out the weather. Because it's not that scary. You don't understand." I pointed at myself. "I panic professionally." Maxwell sat down beside me on the sofa. "My parents will like you." "How do you know?" "Because you're you." "That doesn't mean anything." Maxwell laughed, then pressed a light kiss to the top of my head. "I've talked about you constantly." My heart skipped again. "Have you really talked about me that much?" "Connor once told me to shut up about Vincent Carter." I burst out laughing despite my rising panic. "Okay, but..." I swallowed. "What if they don't like me?" Maxwell looked at me like I just said the most absurd thing in the world.
Impossible.
"Max, I'm serious." He gently rubbed my hand. "My parents just need to see the way I look at you and they'll understand." My chest burned. "I hate that you always talk like you're in a romance novel. And I hate that you pretend not to love hearing it." I was about to argue back, but Maxwell's phone suddenly buzzed. He glanced at the screen, then frowned. "Daniel?" My stomach dropped immediately. Maxwell looked at me. "I'll take this for a second. Okay?" "Yeah." He stood and walked out to the balcony to answer the call. I tried to focus on my laptop. Failed completely. 10 minutes later, Maxwell came back inside. His expression was strange. The kind of tense I really didn't like. "What happened?" I asked immediately. Maxwell was quiet for a few seconds, then finally said, "Daniel was just attacked." I blinked. "What?" "Someone outside a bar near downtown recognized that he was gay." Maxwell clenched his jaw. Things got out of control. My entire body went cold. The air in the apartment suddenly felt heavy. "I need to go to the hospital," Maxwell said quietly. I stood up immediately. "I'm coming with you."